All right. I think we're live, guys. How's everyone doing today? I'm back again here. See if James is around today. Morning, everyone.
What?
Yo,
What's going on?
what's up, bro?
Bro, just mega win of the day is not touching this VREX.
Bro, it's almost very obvious. I actually thought about even going long, bro. I was watching it and like kind of consolidating here in the 850s. And I was like, dude, like maybe I should go long. And then I went upstairs and made a coffee instead, and it's $2 higher.
At
So
least you have the right idea. That's all that
That's the
matters.
that's the biggest thing, bro. Is understanding what is going on between these stocks is the key. Knowing to avoid, knowing to stay away from the traps, you know?
Yeah. No, it's funny. I had a I'll talk about it later, but I had a great
Sure.
conversation with a member yesterday about just avoiding what you know doesn't work and what causes you so much trouble. And VRAX is a microfloat. It's a microfloat. It's the only stock moving, is being pumped. The signs were there. But,
Yep.
too many times in the past, you think you can beat these stocks and you get killed.
Yep. It always starts with just a nibble. And the nibble
Yep.
turns into a full size position, you know? I have some good news for our viewers on YouTube. Is I just dropped 400 bucks on a new microphone. So next time I'm in Miami, it should be all set. This is the same microphone that Joe Rogan uses in his podcast. So I don't want
Sick.
to hear any more bullshit about audio, this, that. It was so funny, bro. So the final straw was this for me. Someone commented on the YouTube video and was like, bro, you got millions of dollars in cars, but you won't drop 50 bucks on a mic. Oh my motherfucker, bro. All right. I'm not gonna drop 50. I'll drop 500.
You should DM him the receipt.
Yeah, it is, bro. It's better that I don't even read the comments,
No, no.
but it should be here when I'm back in Florida. So,
Wait.
uh, just a heads up. Yeah, Rogan. It's like those Shure mics, the Shure podcasting mics.
Sick.
What the hell was I gonna say? Yeah, I'll probably be back in Miami on Tuesday or Wednesday, I think it is. Maybe Wednesday. So my schedule is tomorrow. I will not be trading because I'm going to go to the New York Stock Exchange with our winners. So shout out to all the winners for that Cobra trading giveaway. And then Monday and Tuesday, I'm going to be in New York for some other meetings and stuff like that. I will be trading, so there's no loss of trading. And then, yeah, is VRAX still squeezing?
You guys are gonna have so much fun tomorrow, man. The stock exchange was a unbelievable experience. Unbelievable.
It's a lot of people don't know this, but you cannot buy a ticket to go to the New York Stock Exchange. It's invite only. So you must be invited to go to the stock exchange, right? And I think this is my third time going, dude, which is kind of crazy. I've
It's
been to the stock
awesome.
exchange, I've been to the NASDAQ. It's pretty sick, dude. Harry has a lifetime ban.
Yeah, that is. I tell that story all the time to people. It's so funny when Jim Cramer. Oh, Jim.
Hey, yo, Jim! Like, bro, call him Mr. Kramer, dude. He goes, hey, yo, Jim.
Uh, I still have PTSD when we were on like that balcony and everyone's like,
Dude,
"Where's Harry?" And Harry's walking around with an iPhone in his hand, looking like at a camera, sitting at a desk. I
bro,
think
so
he's
the way it
trading
works at the
someone's book.
stock is the way it works at the stock exchange, you have to be escorted everywhere you go. And there was one point where I don't even remember. Someone's like, wait, where's Harry? And we're like, oh shit. And we see him obviously not being escorted in some random booth with like all like the the Trump guys there. So there's like a big booth that has like all like the Donald Trump fans. So we have some on video. So I actually have a vlog of that. So I'll post it so you guys can kind of watch it. But really funny stuff, dude.
Good memories.
So
Good morning,
I guess let's get
everyone.
started here, guys. So I'm just doing a very quick audio check if you guys can still hear me all right.
That was good on my end.
Test, test. All right. So good morning, everyone. Welcome back to live trading. If this is your first time on live trading, welcome. We are using the webinars channel in Slack to communicate. As you guys know, we do these daily live streams on YouTube. So I stream from 9 a.m. to 9:29 a.m. It's all about what's working in the market, what's not working, and we build a watch list. And then I cut off the stream on YouTube to keep streaming for our MIC members. So coming into today, we have a main runner of the day, VRAX. This is the main play of the day, main hot stock runner. If I remember yesterday, James was saying that we are long overdue for a runner from his mouth to God's ears. Maybe next time he could wish for
Lambo,
something better.
Bugatti.
Yeah, maybe next time he could wish for something better, but we'll take what we can get. And the biggest thing to understand, guys, is this is a lesson that took me probably, I don't know, maybe like 7 years to learn in the stock market, which kind of sounds crazy. But I'm a slow learner, so give me a break. But I think what's important in the market is knowing what stocks to avoid is just as important as knowing what stocks to trade. And that was a lesson that took me a really, really, really long time to learn because dude, the thing about trading is it's so counterintuitive. It is not like a regular job, right? So the way I see it is like, if you have a business, you know, let's say for example, you have a restaurant, right? And someone comes in and, doesn't matter if the customer is Middle Eastern, doesn't matter if he's African American, doesn't matter if he's Asian, doesn't matter if he's yellow, doesn't matter if he identifies as a fucking bear. You're going to serve that customer, right? As long as they have the means, you're going to serve that customer. In the market, you don't need to serve every single stock that's moving. And that was a lesson that took me way too long to learn, man. So these days, I feel like one of my biggest talents as a trader is just stock selection. That's why I was in charge of making the watch list for the longest time ever is my process tells me that I should be narrowing down these stocks. I don't want to trade every stock that's moving. I don't want to trade every stock that has a pulse. I only want to trade the stock that makes sense to me. And that involves disqualifying a lot of different plays, you know? So that was a lesson that took me a long time to learn. So when I saw VRAX today, less than 1 million share float, above VWAP, higher lows, and nothing else moving, that was the clearest signal in my head that this was an avoid, right? And oftentimes stocks that I avoid make for good longs, you know? But for me, I am just literally sticking to the process. You can see it's been a little bit of a slower week this week for me. Making a couple $100 a day at a time. Not really anything too life changing, but I've been staying safe. We had so many squeezers happening. We had CLRO a few days ago. We had VRAX today. And knock on wood, I've avoided all of those messes, man. So for me, being able to avoid these crazy plays has been yielding to way more P&L as well. Beginner Alex from fucking 5 years ago, would be trading all this stuff. Why? Because I was a junkie for the action, right? I wanted the action. I wanted the adrenaline. And what I learned is I'd rather be rich than have adrenaline, man. So these days, I am ignoring these crazy plays because to me, it doesn't have the opportunity. It is more risk than reward, man. So that's kind of the main thing that I want to, teach you guys is just because the stock is moving does not mean that you have to trade it. You have to get aggressive on it. You have to play with it. You know what I'm saying? Um, so yeah, so coming into today, I'm happy that I've avoided VRAX. And if VRAX is the only thing that's moving today, you got to ask yourself, is it worth it? So I was actually shooting with George yesterday, for the live trading video, and there's a lot of really good questions. And you guys will see it on the video, but some of the top two that I think were really, really important was this. So number one is George was mentioning how, he always has a plan before he enters a trade. By the time he's in the trade takes over and he hesitates. He doesn't follow the plan and he deviates. So he's like, "What advice do you have for me?" And this is George, not AI, right? He's like, "What advice do you have for me so that whenever I'm in a trade, that I could actually stick to the plan and not get like lost in the sauce?" You know what I'm saying? So I explained to him, is like, when I first started trading, what I would do is I would have post-it notes. And on my post-it note, I would write my entry, my exit, my stop, and my target plans. And then I would take that post-it note and post-it note to the exact chart on my screen of my computer. So if my computer had 5 different charts, I would have 5 different post-it notes of 5 different plans for 5 different stocks. So that way, if I was ever in a stock or if I never knew what I should be doing, the post-it note was right in front of me. So on an example of VRAX, I would have a post-it note that says avoid nano flow main runner. Put it right in front of my screen of VRAX and then move on to the next one, you know? So that was one lesson that I think is very implementable. I don't know if that's a word. You could implement whatever the verbiage is to do. And if anyone comes over and sees like my trading office, I have post-it notes behind my computer because I ordered that shit in bulk, bro, years ago. I must have ordered 1,000 post-it notes and I still have them, behind my computer if I ever need them. So that's one thing that you could do in your trading so that you don't kind of get lost in the sauce as these things are moving. And it's been really, really helpful for me when I first started. That's number one. Number two is we were talking about the most important thing in trading, or the thing that I never really my biggest misconception about trading. So my biggest misconception about trading that I learned, after whatever years of oh, there it is, Jameson, there it is. So uh, the biggest misconception that I learned is that I always thought that it takes big money to make money in the markets. I always thought that to be a six-figure or seven-figure trader, I had to swing up 10, $20,000, to make those days. And I was like, how the hell was I ever going to get to $100,000 or $1 million if I didn't make 20, 30K in a day? And then it was until I realized, like James's post, is $1,000 a day is 250K a year. $500 a day is 125K a year. Yesterday, I made a little less than $500, right? So that just shows that to make six figures in a year, all it takes is a day like yesterday. The most boring, slowest, dead day is what it takes to get to that $100,000 a year. You know what I'm saying? So these are the lessons that, I think are super, super valuable for newer traders. Is this has been mostly a week to kind of stay alive. There's been a lot of crazy plays. There's been a lot of crazy runners. There's been a lot of crazy action. And the reality is that, it's very easy to lose money on a week like this week because there's just so many crazy plays. But instead, I was bored. I made, a couple $100. I think. What am I at for this week? What day of the week start? It started on what's the number? The 6th. So the 6th. So far this week, I'm up $665. It's not really anything too life changing, but I'd rather be up $665 than be down trying to guess the top on these stocks. So my process is more about safety. My process is about the right stock selection. You guys see over and over again, I get out of the stock and then it freaking craters, like IOTR yesterday. I got out of IOTR and it cratered. Yeah, it kind of came back, but who cares? So the main thing that I kind of want you guys to understand is I am complaining about not making more money. I'm making money in the morning and I'm complaining that it's not making enough. What a blessing that is that, every day you show up to the market on your slowest day, you're on track to make 125K in a year. Working from home, working with your Batman t-shirt on, and then having the freedom to do whatever you want with your day. So I just want to kind of remind you guys that aspect of the market and that aspect of the trading is you're not here to seek thrills. You're not here for the adrenaline. You're not here for the action. If you're looking for that, go hang out with Uncle Bao on Thirsty Thursday. But if you're here to make money, if you're here to be a professional trader, if you're here to be a successful trader, It requires some boring days. It requires some days where the action is slow and requires you to be disciplined enough to notice that VRAX is the main runner and you should probably stay away. And if you are unable to stay away, close your platform and take the day off, right? Put guardrails in place to help you get to your goals, right? If you know that if you want to lose weight and you're a snacker, stop going to the fucking supermarket and buying snacks, right? If you know that you know, whatever is causing issues in your process, be sure to create guardrails around that process, right? Because that is the only way. I find myself very hard to control with certain things. It sounds stupid, but I do. When it comes to ice cream and hot fudge and cake and cookies and junk food and snacks and all that stuff, dude. I mean, you put it in front of me, I will eat it until I throw up and then eat more, you know? It's an addiction. Fuck. So what do? I don't have snacks in my house. I try my best not to, even be tempted with dessert. Man, me and George were shooting. We passed by a Cold Stone. The Cold Stone had a fucking Superman ice cream there, dude. Hell, you gonna tell me I'm not gonna have the Superman ice cream? So I just fucking turned the other way, drove away. 5 more seconds, man, I was gonna get the jumbo size Superman ice cream. But you have to put guardrails in place, right? So that's the thing that you have to understand about your tradings. If you struggle with over trading, close the goddamn platform. If you, dude, we had a member that had his wife pull the plug of his trading computer at 10:30. Imagine he had no self control. This was a Harvard educated doctor, okay? A Harvard
Oh
educated
man.
doctor that had his wife pull the plug on his trading computer at 10:30 to stop him from over trading. So what guardrails are you going to put in your trading to make sure that you could get to your ideal desired goals? And if you are unwilling to put in those guardrails, I mean, I got no answer. So I'm gonna take a sip of my coffee here, and I'm gonna kind of let James chime in, and then we'll build the watch list, guys.
Yeah. Real quick, as what I was going to mention is I had a really great call with a member last night, and it might sound like a broken record, but I can't express enough how much you guys need to be focusing on what works and what doesn't. Alex and Steve talk about it daily, but we're going through this member stats, and it was clear as day. The losing times for him were after 10:30. He's been trading for 6 years, and he actually just joined MIC recently. And he's looking at his stats and he's net red overall. And I said, all right, now what would happen if you got rid of all of your trades after 10:30? Dude, he was profitable by a ton. A ton.
That's
It's
crazy.
insane. It's insane. So, when it comes down to it, I won't take too much time, but when it comes down to it, you guys need to treat this like a job. Treat this as something that you're going to make a lot of money at. It'd be like going to the gym every day and doing exercises that are actually hurting you rather than making you muscle. It doesn't make sense. So, that's my big focus, going forward, as you guys know. And that's why I've been really selective and being better. And, market's been slow, but I think I'm up 3,000 on the week just from a couple good trades on high probability setups that work for me. So it doesn't take much, guys. It does not take much at all.
Yeah, and I think people have unrealistic expectations, man. Like, don't get me wrong. When I first started trading, I want to make, a gazillion dollars every single day. But what I told George is this: I want to make $100,000 a day, dude. I would love to make $100,000 a day. It's like the same thing. It's like someone's like, dude, I would love to make $1,000 a day. But the number one thing that you should be doing at the start of your trading day every day is this. It sounds very simple. Ask yourself a question. Hey, Alex, is today a day to size up or is today a day to size down? If you don't know that answer, man, you have not earned the ability to size up. And after you answer that, it'll tell you clear as day. So what do you think today is? With VRAX being a nano float runner and other stocks not moving. Pop quiz. Do you think today's day to size up or do you think today's day to size down? And that's the answer, dude. That's the answer. You size down. So it's oftentimes very simple checks, man. It's like checks and balances, man, right? How does it work? It's like the judicial branch checks the executive branch, which checks like the congressional branch or whatever the fuck it is, right? Like in the United States system or, all this stuff. So you need checks and balances, man. So I recommend that everyone has like a trading buddy, right? We call it a trading accountability buddy and short for tab. So whenever Steve says tab around, it's a trading accountability buddy. Anyone that's in the webinars chat, anyone that's in here, anyone that's watching, just reach out to one another and be like, hey, I'm looking to kind of bounce ideas, off of you. And maybe your tab's job is to just double check your work. So when Bao and I started trading together before MIC existed, before anything like that, you know, so the reality is this. Um, if I had an idea on my watch list and Bao reviewed it and he didn't like it, I would size down. If Bao had an idea on his watch list, I reviewed it and I didn't like it, I would size down. But if both Bao and I agreed on the same stock, that was our signal to size up. That was our checks and balances, right? So maybe you need to just double check yourself, whether it be with me, whether it be with a trader, whether it be with whoever the hell it is, to just double check yourself and be like, you know what? Is today a day to size up or is today a day to size down? And if you do not know the answer, you have not earned the ability to size up yet. And that's that. So that's it. So I'm making the watch list here real quick. I'll share it here when it's done. So Sky Q,
TVRD is finally breaking down.
which one, James?
TVRD.
TVRD. Oh, I didn't even see this one. Oh, that's the one from yesterday. So right now, Sky Q, you could see oil and gas play, but now it's kind of being a little bit weaker. Ideally looking for around this $4 line to short. VRAX, main hot stock runner of the day, ignoring short, not interested. RPGL, this stock is kind of broken pre-market, but lower float, not really much dilution on it. So it might end up trapping. So just kind of waiting for more information. PMA, maybe a bounce towards VWAP to short would be nice. PMA, bounce toward VWAP to short. And then TRNR. I mean, it's pretty dead in the water, but any bounce on TRNR, any bounce short. So I'll share this watch list out, and then we'll talk about a couple more things here. As a reminder, guys, I will not be here live trading tomorrow. There will be no YouTube stream tomorrow. I am going to the New York Stock Exchange for our Cobra Trading giveaway. As you guys know, Cobra Trading is our main partnered broker. They have a big promo going on where you will get 30 days free commission. You will get $500 in locate fee credits, and we will be selecting 5 people, existing or new accounts, to come trade live with me in person in an undisclosed location. So you have until now, until November 1st, to sign up. The reason why we are even going to the New York Stock Exchange is for our last giveaway. So shout out to Cobra. Also, keep in mind that Cobra now has a smaller account minimum. It is only $10,000 now because of the new PDT rule. Their sister broker, Big Trades, is also available with a smaller $2,500 minimum. And the promo for that is you're going to get $200 in locate fee credits. There's no commissions for that anyway. So, with that being said, we got about 5 minutes here until the market opens. I'm going to continue to sip my espresso and then we will get started. Keep in mind, guys, if you are watching on YouTube, we do these streams every single day for MIC members. We'll be cutting off the stream on YouTube at 9:29 a.m. Just reach out to us, email us, contact us if you want to join. We have some promos going on for the PDT going away. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So, what else is on your mind, James?
Sky Q's tanking, so hopefully get a nice bounce at the open, and we'll see. I mean, I think I think one of the hardest things, guys, especially when the markets are a little slow, like, it could be summertime and it could just happen throughout the year. The hardest thing to do is just teach yourself to sit on your hands and not push. Something I think that Alex is really good at, I just think it's a real superpower, is I've seen him make, 100 grand in a day and then the next day come in and make 500 bucks. Whereas most people, like, that's not easy to do. It's not easy if you're making a few $1,000s a day to then come to the market and maybe make a few hundred. But that is something as a trader that you need to develop, that discipline and that muscle, because if you continue to push the same way in a slow cycle, you will end up giving back your profits plus more. And that's kind of what led to my drawdown, to be honest with you, is that when the market changed going from hot, I mean, you guys saw it, it was every day, I was printing money and it was really, knock on wood, easy. Then when it slowed down, I kind of continued to press the same size, continued to press the same setups that weren't working. And that led to me going into a drawdown for a while. So it's definitely something something you learn over time. It's easier said than done. In the moment, it's not easy, but it's definitely something that while the market's like this, I put safeguards on myself. I just initially locate less. Instead of locating, 4 to 5,000 shares to start, I just locate 2,000. And that kind of protects me from being stupid. Like, do I think this Sky Q is a mega A plus setup? No, not for me. So I'm only going to locate if it bounces 2,000 shares. So it's just these little tips, these tricks that you can do to help yourself in times like this. And again, knock on wood, I've been on a really nice green streak again, and it's just been kind of slow, small wins, $1,000 a day, just while the market's been this. But hey, I mean, $1,000 a day is 250 grand a year. I will take that any day, all day, doesn't matter. So that's been my focus: staying small, staying disciplined, sticking to what works. And above all else, dude, if as long as you've walked away at 10:30 over the last 2 months, you're probably doing pretty well.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, bro. So, with that being said, we will end the stream on YouTube now. Get to live trading for our members. Hopefully, we get some bounces on these plays. VRAX, I'm going to take it off my screen so I'm not even distracted by it. And I'll be starting to see what other stocks are moving today. Again, same thing as always, is I'm taking it slow, man. I am not in any type of rush to push for trades. I am not in any type of rush to, attack these things early. I'd rather just wait for my setup and then attack accordingly. So, with that being said, guys, let's get started live trading here in the next 1 minute. Also, one more